I never had a chance to be a hero. Not the way people imagine it anyway. No capes, no glorious last stands. Just a lot of surviving. Barely surviving. My name's Emmett. That's what I go by now, at least. It's the name I gave myself, the one that fits the skin I've worked to make my own. But if you'd asked me back then, I'd have told you I was someone else. Someone I didn't recognize. Someone who didn't deserve to breathe the same air as the rest of them. I wasn't born Emmett. I wasn't born anything that felt like me. I was born Emily. And in a house ruled by my father's hellfire sermons, when I was 16, I finally fought back. I had to. The world was too small for the person they told me I should be, and I was choking on it. I packed a bag, stole what money I could from my father's stash, and I ran. Left that house behind like it was nothing more than a nightmare. I went to the city, the place where nobody cared who you were, where you could be whatever you wanted to be. But the world didn't make room for me either. I was still too soft, too much a leftover version of Emily, too fragile to fight the way I needed to. I lived on the edge, scraping by, doing things I'm not proud of, whatever it took to survive, until the night I met Dorian. He wasn't a good man, but then neither was I. He took me in, gave me a place to stay, said he had connections, money, power. All I had to do was work, no questions asked. But Dorian had his own way of making people feel small, a way of stripping away everything until you didn't even know who you were anymore. He found out about my past, not just about the abuse, but about the scars I carried. Not the ones on my body, the ones on my heart. He saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, a hunger, a darkness, and he fed it. Dorian wasn't in the business of saving people. He was in the business of exploiting them. The job he had for me wasn't just another illegal gig. It was something else entirely. Something I didn't understand at the time. He sold me to a ship. Not the kind of ship you'd find on a star map. This one was older, colder. Its name was Eclipse, and it was as much alive as it was dead. It was a ship that had seen too much. Too many souls had passed through it, lost souls, devoured souls. And in return, it gave you a kind of power. I didn't know what I was getting into when I signed the contract. I didn't know the crew would be just like me, broken, bruised, hungry for something they couldn't name. I didn't know I was stepping into a place that fed on you. I didn't know that it would start with the hunger. It wasn't physical, not at first. No, it was a gnawing, a void in my chest that I couldn't fill no matter how much I drank, how much I fought, how many jobs I took. I was drowning in something I couldn't name. The eclipse itself had a voice, a whisper that slipped under my skin when I wasn't paying attention, when I let my guard down. And it was seductive. It promised me power, control. It told me I could be anything, everything that I ever wanted to be, but I had to feed it. And that's when the ship showed me what it was, what I was. The crew was dying. One by one they vanished, their bodies found empty. Not hollow like they were just dead, no, they were gone, as if something had eaten them. Their souls, their essence, devoured. The ship fed on them, it fed on us. I was the last one left. And I didn't know how long I had before it would take me too, before it would consume me completely, erase who I was, until I was just another puppet of the hunger. I had a choice, I realized. I could fight it. I could try to outrun it, like I had outrun everything else in my life, or I could become it. I chose the second option, because that's what I had always done, right? I adapted, I survived, I took what I needed to take. I did whatever it took to not be the person I was forced to be, the person my father tried to beat into submission, the person who never felt right in her own skin. I made a deal with the ship, and that's when everything changed. The hunger took hold of me, but I didn't fight it. Instead, I welcomed it. The darkness that lived inside me merged with the darkness in the ship, and I became the hunger. I became the thing that devoured souls, the thing that whispered in the corners of your mind until you had nothing left to give. I don't regret it, not anymore. The hunger is a part of me now. It's as much a part of who I am as my name, as Emmett. I used to want to save people, I used to think I could. But there's no saving in the void, no saving in the black between stars. There's just feeding, and I've learned to feast. When the last of the crew begged for mercy, I gave it to them. But mercy doesn't mean anything in a place like this. Not when you're already dead inside. I'm not a hero. I'm not even an anti-hero. I'm something else. Something that survives. And out here, in the dark, in the heart of the eclipse, I've found my purpose. The hunger is mine. And it's only getting started. The void doesn't care who you were. It just wants to feed.